Number 10. Leptocephalus gigantus. Described by Anton Brunn in 1930 and Peter Henry John Castle in 1959, Leptocephalus gigantus is an extremely rare species of eel thought by some to swim the ocean depths. Only 2 such specimens have ever been studied, and they were in the larval state, meaning that they were nowhere close to reaching maturity. But even as a larva, one specimen was roughly 6 feet in length. And given that eel larva is typically 1/32nd of its adult length, that would suggest a truly monstrous eel come maturity. Now, contemporary scientists have suggested that Leptocephalus gigantus was likely misidentified and would not grow substantially beyond that point. But without further study, it's impossible to say. Leptocephalus gigantus could be the reality behind sea serpents. Number 9. The Aegean Sea Ruins. In 2015, researchers hailing from Greece and Sweden made one of the most remarkable archaeological discoveries of the 21st century. Working south of Athens in the Kalata Bay, the team was exploring fertile territory. The area is rich in archaeological sites. But nothing could have prepared them for what they found. What began with a few pottery fragments led researchers to uncover the ruins of an entire lost city, one that occupied somewhere in the ballpark of 12 acres of land. The city dates back to the Bronze Age and was seemingly protected by a wall complete with defensive towers, structures unseen until now in any other ancient Greek sites. How this seemingly once great city fell, however, is anyone's guess. Number 8. The Colossal Squid.
Release the Kraken!
This terrifying deep-sea beast was first discovered in 1925, and its existence admittedly lends a certain credibility to all those myths about sea monsters. Because colossal squids are so elusive, our knowledge of their anatomy is somewhat limited, but based on beaks that have been recovered, it's been hypothesized that at maturity, they could weigh up to 1,500 pounds and measure 30 to 33 feet in length.
Steve was expecting the squid to be more than 30 feet long. It's only half that.
Only a handful of specimens have ever been found, which makes sense given that they generally inhabit the Antarctic Ocean and dwell at depths of up to 7,200 feet. As if the colossal squid's size wasn't intimidating enough, they're armed with both swiveling and 3-pointed hooks on their limbs. Number 7. The Ruins of Dwarka. The lost city of Dwarka is one of the rare instances of a myth possibly being confirmed as fact. According to legend, the Hindu deity Krishna founded the now legendary city of Dwarka long ago. The city is sacred in the Hindu faith and is said to have been unparalleled in its beauty and splendor, rich in greenery, wildlife, and palaces.
They've found some walls and they found some stuff that carbon dates 32,000 years ago.
It was utopia, that is, until it was swallowed up by the sea. The Dwarka of legend has understandably long been dismissed as a work of fiction, but in the 1980s, with the discovery of underwater ruins off the coast of the modern-day coastal town of Dwarka, people were forced to reconsider that assumption. The research continues to this day. Number 6. The Bimini Road.
Gentlemen, I propose that we find Atlantis, find that power source, and bring it back to the surface.
Dubbed the Road to Atlantis, the Bimini Road, or Bimini Wall as some would argue, is a rock formation that runs for half a mile underwater in the Bahamas. Located near North Bimini Island, this mysterious marine landmark is made up of large, roughly rectangular limestone blocks, which seem to form a road or wall-like pattern.
If you look at the Bimini Road, the sand on one side, the sand on the other side, and there's a clear, defined pathway.
Analysis of the stones, including carbon dating, has led researchers to conclude that the Bimini Road is a natural formation resulting from erosion and the currents. But given that there are 2 other similar patterns in the area, and considering the fact that some of the stones appear to be stacked atop one another, there are some who maintain that there's more to the Bimini Road than carbon dating suggests.
Bimini Road has been dated at around 2,000 to 4,000 years old. Too young to be a part of Atlantis, but again, the accuracy of carbon dating is admittedly questionable.
Number 5. The Atlantis of Japan. Various underwater ruins around the globe have been posited as the lost city of Atlantis upon their discovery. But if there's one that leads the pack, it's the Yonaguni Monument.
Experts call it one of the greatest discoveries in the history of underwater archaeology.
As with the Bimini Road, many have dismissed these underwater rock formations as being naturally occurring. But the structure is oddly geometrical and includes reliefs that vaguely resemble animal carvings and what appears to be the remnants of columns. As such, there are some, like Professor Masaki Kimura, who've argued in favor of this being the remnants of a lost civilization, possibly the lost continent of Mu, another name for Atlantis.
So if a 10,000-year-old civilization existed, it would be a big surprise. It would be unbelievable.
Number 4. Bloop. The Julia recording certainly made waves in the scientific community, but if there's one deep-sea sound file that people never seem to get tired of debating, it's the bloop. And it's not just scientists versus conspiracy theorists. Not even researchers within relevant fields seem to be able to agree about its origins.
There were occasionally, rarely, but occasionally there were sounds that we just could not identify.
This ultra-low frequency, high-amplitude sound was recorded in 1997. First, it was speculated that the sound was caused by icebergs dragging along the ocean floor. But then in 2002, Christopher Fox of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration speculated that it had been produced by an animal. Flash forward another 10 years, and the NOAA was once again pointing towards icequakes. Number 3. The Megalodon.
Because that's going to be the other alternative.
Human history across various cultures is chock full of myths and legends about sea monsters that tormented sailors of yesteryears. Unlike the Leviathan or the Kraken, however, we know for a fact that the Megalodon once swam these seas. The word Megalodon literally means big tooth.
And these 7-inch teeth are almost all that remain of this extraordinary creature. No skeletons have ever been found.
Measuring up to 59 feet in length and reaching upwards of 59 metric tons, these prehistoric terrors certainly earn the name. The general scientific consensus is that they went extinct millions of years ago, but there are those who believe they continue to survive in secret. And it's not just Discovery Channel fueling the speculation. Species like the coelacanth and megamouth shark remind us that anything could lurk in the ocean depths. Number 2. The Lost Submarines of 1968. Life aboard a submarine isn't for the faint of heart. You are literally trapped in a long metallic cylinder hundreds of feet below the surface of the ocean. When something goes wrong, it often goes very wrong. Despite the inherent risks, however, 4 such vessels going missing in quick succession makes for an incredible coincidence. With 318 lives and 4 subs lost in a single calendar year, 1968 is the most deadly year in submarine history since the end of World War II. The USS Scorpion, the INS Dakar, the Minerve, and the K-129, hailing from the States, Israel, France, and the Soviet Union respectively, all disappeared under mysterious circumstances, and continue to be the subject of speculation decades later. Number 1. The Bermuda Triangle. Roughly defined by Puerto Rico, Miami, and the island of Bermuda, this triangle is the subject of much superstition.
Using the terminology of today, you would call the triangle.
Well, I mean, this is the oldest fake news story in the world.
For the record, this is among the most heavily traveled stretches of ocean in the world, and most trips are completed without incident. But the accidents and disappearances that have transpired are notably strange. The Ellen Austin incident allegedly saw not 1 but 2 crews disappear from a derelict ship found in the triangle. The USS Cyclops was a US Navy ship that disappeared with all 309 sailors. There are countless such stories, leaving an enduring shroud of mystery over these stormy seas.
Ships that have shown up absolutely empty, no sign of any struggle, and yet the crew has just vanished.